Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen from different parts of the world, wherever you're viewing us from Asia Pacific, India, South Africa, Middle East, UK, and Europe. I welcome each one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go through the session today, I just preempt this. If there is any questions and we don't get a chance to answer it today, please do not hesitate to email us on davidnair.net. Email us on support@davidnair.net, I should say. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two beautiful ladies here who are going to share with us their journey to acquiring their purpose whilst working with our community called Mental Resilience Mastery. And as part of that journey, a lot of breakthroughs have happened. And so the stories vary from episode to episode. And that's why I'm covering this as an educational format for many to follow and actually cut, copy, paste, I call it. Now, without much further ado, let me just invite Fatima first on stage to introduce herself very briefly, and then let's kickstart with a bit of her story. Thank you so much, Fatima.
Good afternoon, David. Thank you so much for inviting me onto this beautiful platform.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I, so I'm a mind coach. I'm an author, and I'm a mother of two. I'm a wife, and I'm an avid mountain climber. And I'm just an amazing coach. I just love my work, and I'm just so grateful to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Fabulous, fabulous. And whilst I got on the invite, let me also introduce and welcome Sirat. Would you like to share your little introduction, please? Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you, David, for inviting me on this platform. It's always a
It's our
pleasure to be in your company. And
Thank you.
I'm also a life coach, and I solve conflict resolution, and I'm also a mother of three beautiful children. I'm uh, previous I'm actually into life coaching because I am passionate about doing some great work for women who are indecisive in life and are stuck in some place. So that's my
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Relax. Don't be worried. I can see some anxiety. I can feel some anxiety in the voice. Don't be frightened. Okay. Now, let me jump into Fatima and ask a few questions here as we deep dive. Fatima, please share a brief on what got you involved and why did you come to MRM as a Kickstarter?
So, thank you, David. This is such a beautiful question because sometimes we have to reflect back and ask that question. So, I came into MRM because I was invited by my beautiful friend Aman, and we were accountability partners on the Arfin Khan on the coaching section of it. So she invited me, and I was so excited. She said, "You are really going to grow," and I was very excited. So the reason I came to MRM is to grow from where I was, and to become more excellent in everything I was doing, to be excelling in my work as a coach, in my work as a speaker, in my work as an author as well. And we've seen that, I mean, so many great opportunities came from that, and that is the reason why it's just extreme growth and helping others to grow in the process. I thought I could be a pinnacle of growth for others. So that's why I came onto M1M.
Fabulous. And as part of that journey that you joined us, you also did some activity in getting a book or a chapter to a book out. Would you like to share that part of it?
Yes, with the entry into MRM, we were amazingly given the opportunity to write a chapter for Grail, which is, it's a point in my life I had to dig deep to see what is my purpose, and that is the reason why I had to write that specific chapter. It was on the purpose that I found for myself, and I had to dig deep. And in the process of it, I looked back into my childhood. I looked into my entire life, and I looked at the points that helped me nurture myself as well as everyone around me. And it was an amazing achievement because I had to then realize that I've actually had I achieved my purpose, and was my purpose really the purpose that I was looking for. And when I look at my journey, my purpose had changed from the start to now and is still evolving.
Good.
So I just felt that was amazing, that because at first I didn't even know I had a purpose. I was just going through life. And as I
Right.
evolved, I realized my purpose definitely changed. And I'm very happy to say I found my purpose now.
Fabulous, fabulous. To the viewers who are viewing this, they will be wondering what is MRM, what is Grail. MRM is a community that was founded by myself, and it's running for about 2.5 years now. And most of the people that have come through are from various professions, ranging, as you can see, from coaches, trainers, lawyers, doctors, other fraternities, other professions, and they cover the globe. So we have something like about 60, sorry, 40 people in the last edition of Grail. Grail is a book that is put out by the members once every 6 months. And this particular edition is where both of these ladies were part of that, and they delivered and looked at their purpose initially and had to deep dive into that. And as part of that journey, they also had a lot of roadblocks fixed, and in so doing, they actually produced a beautiful chapter. Get a chance, do purchase the book and have a look at it. By the way, all proceeds from the book does not go to any of the authors. It goes directly to two charities. The first charity being the physically and mentally disturbed adults slash children in Calcutta. And the second is to an old age community in Noida, North India. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do look at that, please do not hesitate to acquire a copy. Let me just move down to Sirat and ask you how was your involvement and what got you into our fold? Any points that you felt was of benefit to you?
Okay, sorry, David, you're a little bit frozen in between. I didn't hear your question properly, but I will tell you how
Okay,
I got into MRM. I think that's what you were
okay,
asking me. Yes,
right.
I was introduced to the platform by Nawaz Marka. I have to give gratitude to her. And I saw this straight ad running for the MRM Batch 2 registration. And I was very curious and I loved the energy and the vibe. And I said, this is some amazing people around here doing some amazing work. I need to be there. But one confession I have to make is I have to give all credits to my sister because she's always said she's nudging me to take the first action. She's always behind me pushing. So I have to acknowledge her on this.
Fabulous, fabulous. And once you hopped in, what was your journey within? I think you've only been with us for about 6 months or so, right? How did you
Right.
find it? How did you find it? And how did you develop the chapter in Grail through that?
David, writing Grail was co-authoring Grail with these amazing people across the globe was a milestone for me. It was like a bounce back activity that I had done for myself because I had from the when I came to MRN, I was heartbroken and leg broken and in so much of agony and grief, looking for some kind of a respite to hold on to. And MRM gave me that kind of strength to stand on my own feet and not be dependent on anybody, plus contribute to the people in return. And that gives me so much confidence and courage. And my best takeaway from the MRM platform was the fact that I was always a perfection seeker. And when on the platform you said we train here for excellence, that gave me such a that was such a relief. I somehow felt, yeah, this is the right place I need to be.
Fabulous, fabulous. Let's deep dive into your journey from A to B. And as part of that exercise, let me come back to Fatima. What, from your perspective, were some of the issues and concerns you had to unveil as you wrote your chapter, and how did you encounter that?
So some of the issues that I had to unveil is, the stories that the experience that I had in my marriage, that was the pinnacle point where I had to really dig deep and see why did I do make the decisions that I did. Why did I go forward from there? Why did I refuse to leave the marriage when there was infidelity in it? So as I dug deeper, I realized that I already knew my purpose. I just didn't realize what it was. And so as I went further, I realized every step that I had taken was in search of finding myself at the same time helping others find their place in my life. And this is how I've evolved and became eventually became a coach. And I realized that my journey had already started when I was a young person. That I said I'm going to be an example to other women that are in this situation, that they should never feel alone, that they should never feel like they have been left out of their dreams. And this is what I want. I want women to feel that you can still achieve your dreams, still manage your family, and still manage yourself, and still feel happy and fulfilled. Because if we're not fulfilled, then we have no reason to be on the earth. Because I mean, sadness doesn't give you any joy at all. And when I wrote the purpose, I realized that I was striving towards it unconsciously, but
Mm-hmm.
realizing that it just becomes so much more powerful
more
that I can
powerful
add
that I
on
can
now in
add
the right
on now
direction.
in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right, right. Fabulous. And as you did that, and I must let me just be upfront. I really appreciate your honesty and transparency, and I salute you for being so open about your marriage and working through it. One of the things I would like to sort of deep dive into, not so much the part of your marriage, but more how do you handle those emotions of being in a situation of infidelity and at the same time having a look of children, the challenges that would come through, etc. How did you cope with that?
So finding out that there was infidelity in the marriage was like a strike I was like my rug was pulled out of my feet. I had and nothing to fall back on because I didn't even know who I was at that time. I didn't have an identity. And then it forced me to realize, who am I? I thought I was just a wife and a mother. But then when I had to look deep and say I was much more than that, but I never realized that. So once I accepted the fact that I was much more than just a wife, because now that the marriage was in a shambles, because I didn't know what my foundations were anymore. My foundations of integrity and commitment had been broken because I felt that way, but apparently my partner didn't think it was that important. I had to start searching who I was, and then I realized that I had this nurturing and giving inside of me that I needed to give
Okay, that I
out,
needed to bring out.
which helped me then to focus my energies in the right way. But the pain of infidelity, especially when you're giving your like 110%, when you get that betrayal, it kills you inside. I used to like die every day and relive again for the next day for my children, because first it was just the one and then I had a second child. So when I looked at them and I thought, I have to survive this, I can't give up because of them. I mean, their lives are also in at stake. So it's not just about my happiness. I've got a family to take care of, and family is one of my foundations, my core values. I need to keep that family going and alive. And though that pain was lessened a little bit by looking at my children, but still, when I had
So
developed
when
a
I
relationship with my husband, I still felt there was an
also felt that
emptiness. The trust had been broken, and to regain the trust takes a long, long time. And even though I would love to say that I trust him, I think that 98% I do trust him. The 2%, it's still not like intact. I don't know if it'll even get there, but I do. With forgiveness and with acceptance, I've managed to get to where I am. And he supports me now like 100%. He's backed me through everything, and he allows me to do what I want. So, I mean, he doesn't have issues because he's seen the value. But he's seen the value in me because I've seen the value in me. At first, I couldn't see my own value. So obviously, that's what portrays. No one else can see the value. But once I seen it, I lived those values. And now it comes across as I have honor, I have respect, I have integrity. So I've earned my place. And I think the
Excellent.
love that I got now is so much more than before.
Right, excellent. And it boils down to, I'm going to move into with Shiraz shortly. It falls back into if your
Yes.
cup, or I should reframe that. When your cup is full,
Yeah.
it just happens that other people can see so much difference in you. And that's basically what's happened. You
Yeah.
yourself say through the process of introspection, you're able to then look at ways in which you could fill your own personal cup. And that's the power in which
Yes.
has come through. And I must totally salute you for being so honest and open and transparent. Thank you,
Thank
Fatima.
you. Thank you.
Coming on to you, Shiraz, let me just look at how and what has MRM allowed you to open up and the area in which you're opening up. How did you feel about having some breakthroughs in those areas?
Let me start by saying, David, that I was always a very active child, somebody who was fairly intelligent, somebody who was popular at school. My mom was very particular about education, so we got that. And I think I was well, I always thought that I was doing good in life, but I never felt good enough. The part of me getting my confidence was only when I was performing, when I was probably on stages or getting medals or certificates or something like that. For me, MRM has helped me find my self worth, my identity, and my purpose. And that is a huge breakthrough for me. For me to understand who I am, my core values and beliefs, what I stand for, and the indecisiveness that I would struggle with for decades, like I probably from childhood. This is something I've been able to resolve and have emotional and mental mastery at the MRM platform. And I'm really grateful for that.
As you deep dive into it, what were some of the indecisiveness that caused you to to be dragging your feet?
Yes, I had a very poor sense of identity. I was having a no identity at all. I didn't know who I was, what I liked, what I disliked, what were my values or beliefs, or what I stand for. And because of which, what happened is I tend to become a people pleaser. Now I have very low self esteem, so I can't make confidence out of that. And since I cannot make decisions, I do not trust my intuitions, I cannot make decisions, I become a people pleaser and I start looking for validation in people's eyes. And going through this journey of life, no matter how many achievements and accolades and medals that I'm collecting, I'm somewhere not feeling contented and happy with who I am as a person because I haven't discovered my inner calling. I haven't discovered what I'm born for, the purpose that, like you say. So that's where the emptiness and the void comes in.
Right, right. And the power of this is extremely good. I'm now going to deep dive even further. You just mentioned the lack. Yes, you did have happiness, but the lack of contentment, and that doesn't come easy. Just drifting from a task, getting a medal, making some money, finding a husband, working through the challenges of life, and thinking you're happy doesn't make a person happy. The bottom line you're looking for is to strive for what Maslow himself puts it as self actualization, which is the seventh pinnacle of his Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I put it very simply contentment. Okay.
True.
And similarly, that Dalai Lama puts it just as simple as that. He says, happiness only arises when you have contentment. So, how did you get this contentment?
David, I'm a student of the Quran, and when I shifted my focus from people pleasing because I didn't know who I was, I tried to have understand my position in the universe. I always knew that there was a purpose I was born for, and I was very inquisitive as a child. I would question everything and anything. So it took me very long to come to the place where I had encountered a person who told me that this is where your search would end. You should probably go to the scriptures, and you would find your purpose there. You would understand who you are, why you're here, and what is your purpose in life, and where exactly you get the laws and rules that you abide by. And that gave me a lot of confidence. When I identified with my creator, I knew who I was and what I'm here to do.
Right. Wow. And it's always being able to anchor yourself or latch on to what I call a superior being, someone greater than oneself, which is the creator for a lot of us. And for some who don't believe in religion one way or another, it's the universe. And as long as you can, the term that I use in our community is surrender. Learn the art of surrendering, and you then understand what will unfold to you. And that's fabulous, Shirat. Now let's go on into your issues of hurting inside, and how did you slowly but surely allow that hurt to mellow away?
Okay, like I said, there's this innate inability of me of being indecisive, pushing away responsibility, and if in all I made any decisions, it would come out of a place of uncalculated risk-taking decisions. So from that place, I lose self-trust and I become a people pleaser. And eventually I find that I'm into a position of where I find myself as an imposter. I'm suffering from imposter syndrome because there is an internal conflict that is happening between me in my head. Like there are two parts of me which are struggling with each other, one of which is trying to bring its authentic part outside and reveal her true glory and shine in her power and feel empowered and share the contribution that she wants to make to the world. And there's another part who's a people pleaser and who wants to shy away and camouflage and become part of the crowd and is so desperate to belong somewhere and be a part of a group or a family or a community that they're loggerheads on each other. So that was a big struggle which was going inside my being, and it had to come out, and it had to just like a volcano, it had to blast someday because it was something I couldn't contain within for very long.
And when you got into those issues of concern within yourself, how did you find a way to resolve it? What did you do?
um like I said, I had a very supportive family, and
Right.
I usually, when I was going through stress, I needed to vent out, and I highly appreciate their support because I would probably vent out on them for all the indecisiveness that I would go through. I had to put it. I needed to shift blame on somebody because of my incapacity of taking decisions, and then the things that I avoided to do. And finally, how I decided, I did two things. I also, from the platform, I studied that there's one thing you need to do is forgive. And start from forgiving yourself and forgive the people and believe that everything happens for the higher good. And after forgiving, it made me feel very light. And it made me feel like now I have a purpose too, which is much higher than these small petty things and fights that I need to resolve. And it goes much beyond my own existence because it's got a bigger mission and a bigger focus that I need to target to. So that way it happens that I go through this journey of forgiveness and I come to a place of gratitude. And finally, after years and decades of feeling that my cup is half full, like you say, I learn how to fill my own cup with my own ability to love myself. And it took me so long to come to that point.
Fabulous, fabulous. And the consequence of indecisiveness, those consequences were always pricking you. Now, how did you wade through them with the help of your family? Yes, but you had to have some strength within yourself, and that strength, you had to reach out to someone for it. What were you doing, and how did you do that?
For me, David, the most important thing that I did was connect with my creator. Because at times when I really found myself alone, I would find myself praying and doing all the communication I had to do with my creator, to be honest. And I prayed that let me be along in the community and around people who are good for me and contributing to me. And that's how I think I manifested being part of the MRM as well.
Right. Good. Let me just park you there for a moment and go back to Fatima and deep dive into her journey from where she was to getting out to the mountains. Fatima, you want to share your episode of the journey up to the mountain?
Thank you, David. This is one of my highlights of my life. So we're talking about scaling Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
This happened in 2012. Yeah. So in 2012, I became part because I was so. It started like this because I was so unhappy at home. I had to go out to find happiness, and I joined the cancer care in Rhodium. And then from there, we decided, the three women, to go and let's climb the mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro, to raise funds for our community. And it gave me immense uh, contentment and happiness within myself to do this. So off we went to the mountain. So the mountain was 7 days climb, 7 days and 6 nights. Because 7 days, 1 day extra for the acclimatization, because you get to a lot of altitude when you as you go up, and that affects your body tremendously. And the air is very very thin, so you can't do anything very quickly. It's very very slow. But my journey was up the mountain was quite a challenging one. And there were two moments that actually, there were three moments that I recall that were so beautiful that I will always treasure for the rest of my life. Is the one day, it was the second day of climb. We were going through the second layer of cloud. You generally go to two layers of cloud. So we were on the second layer of cloud, and as I was climbing, I realized that my journey, initially, emotionally, the emotional experience that I had with my life, and the physical climb of this mountain were almost identical, except that my emotional journey was much more challenging than the actual climb, because the climb was very, very challenging. I started becoming emotional. I cried a lot. I let out emotion, and my teammates that were with me allowed me to cry because they said she needs to let it out. She's been holding it so long. She just needs to let it out, and they let me cry as long as I needed. And just that realization of the strength that I had to bear whatever I did through my life was actually measured for the very first time. I didn't realize the intensity, the magnanimity of it. And so that was the one moment I began to realize my own strength. And then the second point was, as we were climbing up, we got to at 7 o'clock, just before 7 o'clock, maybe an hour before, we it was sunrise, and that African sunrise is so magical. It's a moment that I realized that I've come so far, and I just got a little bit more, like almost there. There's like a sign as a metaphor for me or for everyone in life, that no matter how hard you climb or no matter how difficult your journey is, there is a moment where you're almost there. It's just a sign to say you're almost there. So don't give up. And the third moment, which is the most amazing moment, which I will always treasure, is when I reach the top and my guide says to me, "Congratulations, you made it." It's like, am I dreaming or what? Because it was a real challenge, and I stood there for the very first time as a warrior in my own skin, to say, now I am more than I ever thought that I could ever be. And I think that's the first moment ever in my life that I thought that, and that was a turning point for me. It was icy cold, it was minus 10 degrees, and it was just like very, very hard to breathe. But it's like, I need to be there to live this moment over and over, because it gave me a reality check on my life. Yeah.
Fabulous. I want to do a parallel run here. Your physical and your
Yes.
emotional tenacity, going through the challenge you had at home. Obviously, you worked on your emotional component, and it unveiled itself. You found a solution, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. We'll park that for the time
Yeah.
being. But the key thing is you worked through that emotion. Now, when you started the mountain climb, you're looking at a physical endurance. Now, both the emotional and physical is going to work your way up the mountain. How did you
Yes.
find when you had to get to situations when you're letting this out? Okay, as you said, you wept a lot. How did you find and reflect back to what was happening at home and how you bore that for, I think, was it 13 or 14 years?
Yeah. So I found that I did not understand where that strength had come and how challenging it had actually been. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how intense it had been, because it's like a if I can use a metaphor, it's like a frog. As you in hot water, the water gets hotter and hotter. You don't realize how hot it is. So how challenging it was, I didn't realize until I did that physical climb. When I had to physically exert myself, I actually realized that the emotion was so intense. I didn't realize how intense it was, because a lot of people just tell me, what you do, I cannot do it. I will not do it. I don't know how you do it. And I would just say, God has given me the strength. I don't know from where, but I trust in Him. I put my whole life in His hand, and I always ask Him to hold my hand, never let me go. And that was my, I think, the most powerful strength I got was from that belief and the faith, that I will be okay, that He's got my back. But when I measured it physically and emotionally, um, I still felt the emotional challenge was much more than the physical challenge. And
Hence it,
that was the very first time I could actually feel it.
right, and hence it made probably the journey up the mountain a bit easier because you've had the strength from the emotion component.
Yes, it
And
did.
that's the
And the
point I'm trying to get here.
yes, it did make it easier.
Right. Now the thing is, when you did that, okay, you've got euphoria. You've got this bliss in you.
Yeah.
Now you can conquer the world, as you said. How is life after you came down the mountain, and how are you coping?
So when as I was journeying up the mountain, my husband's relationship was crumbling on the other side with the second wife, because he had married a lady and she had decided she wants to move out. No, that was Everest. Sorry. Yeah, but anyway, so their relationship wasn't as strong. Um, so yeah, it was crumbling, and there was a child going to be born in that at that moment. So I had to now. I was just focused on myself. I wasn't concerned about what he was saying and what he wasn't saying, but it made me realize that I was a very big part of life where if I wasn't there, things were not working as it should. And I realized my value, my importance, and my strength of keeping the family together. And as I came back down the mountain, we had to find our spaces, because now that relationship was integrating, and I had to now, and believe me, it was so unbelievable that I was sad because I had accepted this whole dynamic. It was working. It was starting to work. But now that it was disintegrating, I had to readjust. And it's just, you're never the same person. He was never the same person after that. He became depressed. I had to deal with depression. I had to deal with children coming into the family. My kids not adjusting. It's a whole other, new children coming from another mother. So I had to be that person. Am I going to shun them away, or am I going to accept them just like I accepted her, like I accepted everything else, like I accepted my husband, like I accepted my
I I think we are having a buffering issue. I'll come back to you, Fatima, while we are waiting. Let me move on to Sira. No, just park yourself for a moment till you get better dynamics on your bandwidth. Okay, coming back here to you, Shiraz, I want to get to know a little bit more about your drive. Now that you've been able to unshield some of the challenges and the
yeah,
new
yeah.
lotus. One moment, I'll come back to you, Fatima. Okay, just
Sure,
one moment.
thank you.
No,
Sorry.
no problem. So the lotus has just opened and blossomed. What are you looking at in pulling together? I noticed Nawaz has made a comment here. What about the tools you learned? uh, what are some of the things that you feel you can pull together and make this jigsaw puzzle of your life a little bit more fulfilling?
Yes, David, one of the most important tools that I picked up from MRM, which I'm definitely going to incorporate going ahead, is because I'm a person from that wanders a lot in my past. And NENN is one of the tools, which is no excuses and no negativity. Is is something that I practice, and at least I'm trying to practice, because it's easy, it's simple, but it's not easy. And this is something which is kept me in the present, in the moment, and that has been a real task, because I'm a daydreamer and I'm also a person who lives in my past, and going back into the same can of worms, and every time feeling depressed and demotivated, and inhaling has got me back into my present and made me look into my future, and to project the things that are good that are happening, to be in the state of gratitude. And also, I'm a person where I would take decisions only in cases of trauma. So last time when I took a major decision in my life is when I had a fall from my stairs and I broke my leg, and I had something traumatic to happen that I would take some action. Otherwise, I would find myself debilitated with my cognitive abilities on pause, and at this kind of a brain fog. Every time I was faced with any decision making, I would freeze, and that was such a norm, because in my as a child, I was always pushing away decision making, and that became habitual, and that continued through my adult life, which I never sorted. And and this put me in a position where I was now in a place where I had no boundaries. I had relationships, I had friends where I have not uh, set up boundaries or put across my values or principles, and people are all walking over me, and I'm feeling so frustrated, but I don't have a voice for myself, and I'm feeling helpless. At this time, I didn't want my children to see me disempowered. And then that's when I decided I need to make a change. And having the fall, after which my dad also passed away, that was the pattern breaker. It was where I decided that no, it is so ironic that after I broke my leg, I thought of standing for myself. So yeah, so I thought that this is not going to continue, because I don't want to pass this on as a legacy to my children. And I'm doing the same thing as a coach. And during my plaster time, when I was on bed, I wrote my first book, which is Wandering Woman to a Wonder Woman, which is my own journey of finding my purpose in life and becoming the superhero that I always wanted to be. So this is how I transitioned, and I switched from my inactive mode to the action taker mode. And that's how I feel is going forward. I need to carry that as a legacy and empower more women to take informed decisions, so that they remove this generational trauma, and we have contributing members to the society.
Right. Fabulous. And you mentioned about breaking your leg. Can you repeat what happened when you say you broke your leg?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back into the pains of.
Someone pushed you down the stairwell.
No, no, David. I was actually, if if I tell you now, it sounds funny, but because of indecisiveness, I had this. I used to get this. I used to have continuous headache in my, because I'm not. It's like flight mode, and I'm not taking
Mm-hmm.
any action. So every day
Mm-hmm.
when I wake up, I'm anxious. I'm stressed. I'm feeling so much of. There's no action that I'm taking, but at that point, I need to do something. It's like I need to run, but I'm on the same place and not even on a treadmill. And I don't know where I need to go. It's like the hamster wheel that I'm on, and I'm not going anywhere with no matter how much effort that I'm putting in. And with all that, I want to say that it just felt like I was stuck. I was, like it's a place where you just stand and you feel everything is moving except for you.
Good, good. All right. And having that transition, how is your children today looking at the new mom?
Yes, my children have been very supportive, David. I needed to say that, because with all that indecisiveness, I did a lot of injustice to them. That's what I feel, because I found myself in a very incompatible marriage. And even then, I didn't decided not to take action unless the trauma part appeared in my life. And they've been very supportive. My children, when I actually chose to sit them together on a round table, and I said that babies, I need to tell you something. Mama has decided something for myself. I'm going through a very difficult patch in my life. And this is a decision I've taken for myself. This does not it will change the dynamic of the family, but it does not change our relationship. And it has nothing to do with our love, and it's nothing to do with you. So I don't want them to feel the burden or think that it's because of them. So I needed them to know that I'm taking this decision for them and for the long term benefit. I sat with my son and I told him this is what I needed to separate from his father. And 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 my son is a very young, mature kid for his age. He told me, you should do what you think is right, and you should have taken this action earlier if you were feeling so frustrated. You need to be who you are, and that's how he wants to be in my empowered version, and that's what I love about the children. They want me to be happy, and I also want to say, David, that three of them had their pocket money, and they got me a cake which read "Happy Divorce," and we cut the cake. And that was the most beautiful thing that they did for me. For
Wow. How old was your little boy
Yeah, this
back then?
year they're all
No, no,
he's
no, back
17
then.
years old.
No, no,
No, he
back
was
then.
16. Just it's a year back, so he was
Right,
16,
right. I
and I had.
salute you too. I salute you too for being transparent, and I don't expect the people that come on the platform to be so open, but obviously it's the connect and the environment that we've been developing one another that's allowed you to be so open and transparent. For that, I take my hat off to both you ladies, and totally admire you for coming on stage and talking about everything, so to speak. Sirat, I would really, really salute you also to have such excellent kids. Obviously, despite the challenge through, you were going through, you were able to also maintain fairly good, strong bond there for the family and for the kids to grow up with. And both the ladies, you've had what I call that faith, that certitude. I use the word certitude in place of faith, that things will go well if you're able to surrender. And when you understand that trigonometry of those three elements that we talk about, you have actually walked your way through some fantastic roadblocks that you broke, and at the same time come out of it being much stronger ladies, and at the same time able to, as you both said, conquer the world now. I salute you for that, both of you.
Thank you.
Now, going on from there, I want to now see, because we're running out of time also, I got to condense this a bit now. Let's look at what from here for you, Fatima. What from here are you planning?
So, in terms of my next climb, I'd like to share. I want to do the Machu Picchu climb. That should be next year
Right,
sometime.
right.
So it's adventure. That's part of it's in my blood, and I will not stop until I can't go anymore. So that's one thing. In terms of wanting for my career, definitely I want to pursue my coaching, but I would love to become a dynamic speaker. I follow the likes of Tony Robbins. He's been my inspiration from the time I started my journey, or like 20 years ago, of developing myself. I would love to be in his platform, sharing the stage with him, possibly one day, or even just becoming a speaker like him, because I think that's where I can empower the world, empower the women that I want to in a more effective way. But that's what I project for myself going forward. Yeah, see myself on stage.
Fabulous, fabulous. I'm not going to wish you all the best because I know it'll happen. One of the key things that
Oh,
we have
thank.
worked with is getting this community and getting the environment right, etc. So there's no toxic to help you, or minimum toxic to help you journey through there. What about yourself, Shiraz? What are you planning from here on?
Um, David, I would love to pursue my career as a coach because I think that this is this is the journey I want to take. And also because I feel ever since when I put my coach's hat, now I see people who are stuck, who cannot reach their potential as adults walking with childhood trauma, which needs to be healed. And that makes me feel like this is a medication. There are a lot of things that go on other than physical ailments, which are mental issues, which are not addressed. And being as a coach, I would be able to address that. And also someday, just like you, I would love to have my talk show. So I would also go live on air. And other than that, I'm also very passionate about speaking, so I would like to pursue that as well. I also participated in one of the speaker challenges. So let's see how that goes.
Yep, yep. That's truly wonderful, wonderful. Now, from there, I'm going to now get you both, since you have worked through and got your purpose and you're deriving your work practices, etc., from your four quadrants and your purpose. To the viewers, some of these terms are jargons to you, and I do apologize for that because we don't have the time to talk about that in detail. I again would say you're welcome to connect with any of our platform people. At the same time, members are welcome to share the thoughts with you. So connect with them and they will help you. The idea of our community is not to make anything out of it, but to ensure people come up in life. Now, your purpose, Fatima, based on what you have done, how you've come through, how does that sink in to where you're going to go and at the same time unleash what you had left behind?
So, my purpose is to help women find their identity, raise their self esteem, and stand in their power, and create a balance and lead their families confidently, thereby empowering future generations. And that's
Wow.
all I've done. I've empowered my children to be what I want to be, what I am.
Wow. Wow. And I think this is the key thing. Both of you are actually walking the walk and you have walked the walk. And now you're about to do the talk. And it's salute to you for doing that because when you are able to do that, you have removed the shackles, you're moving forward without that backpack, and you're going to just soar like an eagle, not hang around with the chickens, very honestly. So I salute you both for that. Yourself, Shiraz, your purpose.
David, my purpose is to empower women so they can take informed decisions and eradicate and eliminate generational trauma. If they could understand the important role that they play in the society, the unit of family that they are in charge of, and the footprints that they leave behind on the next generation, they would take their decision making more in a position of from a place of confidence and responsibility. And I really want to encourage that in women so they can become empowered version of themselves and put a great impact on the generations to come.
Wow. And I'm really proud to see the way you have capsuled your purposes. Um, Guys, if you want to know more about not just them, but 40 other authors, okay? 40 other authors who have put together collaboratively the book titled Grail 2.0, first time ever from four continents, I think 10 or 12 countries. The authors come from various professions. It's people like this who have done the walk, have capsuled their journey, and showcased that in our book called Grail 2.0. I again emphasize none of the proceeds go to any of the authors. It goes to two charities, one being the mental resilience, sorry, not mental resilience, that's in my head, the mentally disturbed kids in Calcutta, and the other being the aged community here in Delhi, Noida. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have any questions and would like to have those, I don't see any questions that I need to address on the platform yet. Please do not hesitate to email David support at davidnair.net. Support at davidnair.net. Your parting last comments. Fatima, to the audience, your impact statement.
Thank you, David. So, my impact or my challenge to all the ladies out there is I want you to find your identity and, live your life as if you got four quadrants. So, it's your business, your self, it's your family, and it's everything. And it's not only one person. Like, I focused on my husband only. And I felt everything else was not valid, but everything is valid. My whole life is complete when we have everything covered, not only one area. So I'd say focus and create a balance, make your four quadrants work for you. Then you'll find true fulfillment and happiness and a purpose to move forward. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Last but not least, Shiraz, your
Yes,
purpose.
David. I just want to give this message to the audience that life is a gift and which is time bounded. You get the gift of free will, which is for a very limited time on this planet Earth. So, and there is a decision making ability of yours which will be tested on everyday basis. So, empower yourself to become a good decision maker is to be successful life and also from a religious perspective, successful in the hereafter. So if you understand your position of who you are, your identity is related to your purpose. So it's very crucial and important that you identify who you are and find your purpose and be on the right path that takes you to success.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. The viewers, very quick statement from me about having a look at our sessions that we are conducting. I am actually going to conduct another 6 of these sessions through the next number of weeks for individuals who have been part of the MRM chapter called a book called Grail 2.0. At the same time, we are having 3 guest speakers from foreign countries, one from UK and 2 from the US. They will be coming during the months of September. Look forward to further talks with some of you people out there. And if you do have any questions, once again, do email us at support@davidnair.net. Support@davidnair.net. Once again, thank you, Fatima, and thank you, Shiraz. Both of you are wonderful, and thank you for the strength that you got to share to the audience. Appreciate your help. Take care now. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, David, for the opportunity. Thank you, everybody.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
It's our pleasure.